Hello and welcome back to Shakesyear. We are working on The Rape of Lucrece, which is a poem about sexual violence towards women and suicidal ideation. So if those are triggers for you, you may want to tune out. But today we're just going to continue on hearing a description of a painting. So if you want to hear some of that, today it is a painting of war. So maybe if war is a trigger for you, then tune out. But we're looking at stanzas 201 to 204. And Lucrece has woken up. She's sent a messenger to get her husband to come home because she only wants to tell her story once. She wants Collatine to know what happened to her so that he can avenge her and so that he knows she didn't sleep with Sextus Tarquinius willingly, and then she plans to kill herself. But in the meantime, she's got some time to kill, so she goes and she looks at this painting of the siege of Troy, or the battle over Helen of Troy, and it's a beautiful painting, and we got a description of it yesterday, and the description doesn't really follow the plot or advance the plot. If you want to like dig into what all of the symbolism in it means and why this person is there and why this person isn't, you're welcome to. But it does feel a little bit like, hey, we're looking for Horcruxes and this is going to take a while, but there'll be a payoff later, and I promise there will be a payoff later. But yesterday they were saying that the painter put so much into this painting that you see people of all different sorts. You see the people that are rearing for war, you see the people that are afraid to go to war. Ajax and Ulysses were painted with such perfection that you could see Ajax's rage, but Ulysses like sly glances and stuff like that. And stanza 201 picks up describing the various characters in the painting by saying, "There pleading might you see grave Nestor stand, as 'twere encouraging the Greeks to fight, making such sober action with his hand that it beguiled attention, charmed the sight. In speech, it seemed, his beard, all silver white, wagged up and down, and from his lips did fly thin winding breath, which purled up to the sky. About him were a press of gaping faces, which seemed to swallow up his sound advice, all jointly listening, but with several graces, as if some mermaid did their ears entice. Some high, some low, the painter was so nice. The scalps of many almost hid behind, to jump up higher seemed to mock the mind. Here one man's hand leaned on another's head, his nose being shadowed by his neighbor's ear. Here one being thronged bears back, all bollen and red. Another smothered seems to pelt and swear, and in their rage such signs of rage they bear, as but for loss of Nestor's golden words, it seemed they would debate with angry swords. For much imaginary work was there, conceit deceitful, so compact, so kind, that for Achilles' image stood his spear, gripped in an armed hand. Himself behind was left unseen, save to the eye of the mind. A hand, a foot, a face, a leg, a head, stood for the whole to be imagined. So yeah, a lot of this is, the first three stanzas are talking about Nestor, and Nestor is trying to encourage everybody to fight. He's sort of rallying up the group, and around him are a whole bunch of other soldiers who are listening with varying degrees of interest. But it again is digging into the realism of the painting. Like, it looks like maybe some people in the back are mid-leap so that they can hear what Nestor is saying. All that, they're on each other. There's the shadow of this guy on that guy. They all look so riled up that if they weren't just listening to Nestor, they would be breaking out in fights at the moment. But then the last of these stanzas looks at Achilles, who isn't necessarily a full figure in the painting. His spear is there in his hand, but the rest of him is kind of hidden. So you can see for Achilles, he really just stands for war, and he stands for wanting to fight. So yeah, that's the description of the painting that we get today, and we'll get a little bit more tomorrow, and I promise there is going to be a payoff as to why we're looking at all of these various characters, and why she's even looking at this painting, what it might mean to her, as we get through all of the various characters in it. So come on back tomorrow for more. I'll see you then. Mwah.